To troubleshoot an arc fault circuit breaker tripping, firstly, check the wiring for any cuts, nicks, or loose connections. Use a multimeter to ensure continuity throughout the circuit. Secondly, carefully disassemble the light fixture and check for any loose wires, frayed insulation, or damaged components. Thirdly, ensure the light bulb is the correct type and wattage for the fixture. Replace it with a new bulb of the same specifications. Fourthly, reset the arc fault circuit breaker and turn it off and on several times. If it trips consistently, there may be an issue with the breaker itself. Fifthly, arc fault circuit interrupters use electronic sensors to detect electrical arcing. Reset the arc fault circuit interrupter and listen for any audible clicking or popping sounds. If the clicking persists, the arc fault circuit interrupter may be malfunctioning. Sixthly, ground fault circuit interrupters are designed to protect against ground faults, but they may also trip due to arc faults. Install a ground fault circuit interrupter outlet in the bathroom and see if it resolves the issue. Seventhly, if you're unable to identify and resolve the issue yourself, it's recommended to contact a qualified electrician for further diagnosis and repair. Additional tips include using only high-quality light fixtures and bulbs. Ensure all electrical connections are tight and secure. Avoid overloading the circuit with multiple devices. Regularly test the arc fault circuit breaker to ensure it's functioning properly. A deeper dive into each of these steps can provide a more comprehensive understanding of the troubleshooting process. When checking the wiring, pay close attention to areas where the wires may have been stressed or bent. Look for any signs of discoloration or melting, which could indicate a short circuit. Use a non-contact voltage tester to verify that the power is off before touching any wires. When examining the light fixture, check the socket for any cracks or damage. Make sure the wires are properly connected to the terminals and that the screws are tightened securely. If the fixture has a ballast, inspect it for any signs of leaking or burning. When inspecting the light bulb, make sure it is not loose in the socket. Check the bulb's wattage rating to ensure it matches the fixture's specifications. If the bulb is old or damaged, replace it with a new one. When testing the circuit breaker, try resetting it several times to see if it trips immediately or after a short period. If the breaker trips consistently, it may be faulty and need to be replaced. You can also use a multimeter to check the voltage and current in the circuit to see if they are within acceptable limits. When checking the arc fault circuit interrupter arc fault detection circuitry, listen carefully for any unusual noises, such as clicking or popping. These noises could indicate that the arc fault circuit interrupter is malfunctioning and needs to be replaced. You can also test the arc fault circuit interrupter by pressing the test button on the device. If the arc fault circuit interrupter does not trip when the test button is pressed, it is not functioning properly and needs to be replaced. When considering a ground fault circuit interrupter, remember that these devices are designed to protect against ground faults, which occur when electricity flows through an unintended path to ground. Arc faults, on the other hand, are caused by a breakdown in the insulation between two wires or between a wire and ground. While a ground fault circuit interrupter may sometimes trip due to an arc fault, it is not designed to specifically detect or prevent them. If you are experiencing frequent arc fault trips, it is important to have the circuit inspected by a qualified electrician to determine the cause of the problem. When contacting an electrician, be prepared to provide them with as much information as possible about the problem. This includes when the problem started, what devices were in use when the breaker tripped, and any other relevant details. The electrician will use their expertise and specialized equipment to diagnose the problem and recommend the appropriate solution. They may also perform additional tests, such as insulation resistance testing, to identify any hidden wiring problems. In addition to the troubleshooting steps, consider the following points. First, ensure that the wiring in the walls is properly installed and protected. Wires should be run through conduit or secured with staples to prevent them from being damaged by nails or screws. Second, avoid using extension cords or power strips to power multiple devices on the same circuit. This can overload the circuit and cause the breaker to trip. Third, if you live in an older home, consider upgrading the electrical system to meet current safety standards. Older wiring may be more prone to faults and could pose a fire hazard. Arc fault circuit interrupters are designed to protect against fires caused by arcing faults. They are required by the National Electrical Code in many areas of the home, including bedrooms, living rooms, and dining rooms. Arc fault circuit interrupters work by detecting the unique characteristics of arcing faults, such as the presence of high-frequency electrical noise. When an arc fault is detected, the arc fault circuit interrupter trips the circuit breaker, cutting off the power to the circuit and preventing a fire from starting. There are two main types of arc fault circuit interrupters, namely branch/feeder arc fault circuit interrupters and combination arc fault circuit interrupters. Branch/feeder arc fault circuit interrupters protect against arcing faults in the branch circuit wiring, while combination arc fault circuit interrupters protect against both arcing faults in the branch circuit wiring and arcing faults in cord-connected appliances and devices. The National Electrical Code requires the use of combination arc fault circuit interrupters in most new construction and renovation projects. When installing arc fault circuit interrupters, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Arc fault circuit interrupters should be installed by a qualified electrician to ensure that they are properly wired and functioning correctly. Arc fault circuit interrupters should be tested regularly to ensure that they are working properly. To test an arc fault circuit interrupter, press the test button on the device. The arc fault circuit interrupter should trip the circuit breaker, cutting off the power to the circuit. If the arc fault circuit interrupter does not trip when the test button is pressed, it is not functioning properly and should be replaced. If you are experiencing frequent arc fault trips, it is important to investigate the cause of the problem. Arc fault trips can be caused by a variety of factors, including loose wiring, damaged insulation, and faulty appliances. To troubleshoot arc fault trips, start by checking the wiring in the circuit for any loose connections or damaged insulation. Pay close attention to areas where the wiring may have been stressed or bent. Next, check the appliances and devices that are connected to the circuit for any signs of damage or wear. If you find any problems, repair or replace the affected component. If you are unable to identify the cause of the arc fault trips, contact a qualified electrician for assistance. An electrician can use specialized equipment to diagnose the problem and recommend the appropriate solution. In addition to the troubleshooting steps outlined above, there are a few other things you can do to prevent arc fault trips. These include avoiding overloading circuits, using high-quality electrical components, and protecting wiring from damage. Overloading circuits can cause the wiring to overheat, which can lead to arc faults. To avoid overloading circuits, do not plug too many appliances or devices into the same circuit. Use high-quality electrical components such as wires, outlets, and switches to ensure that they are durable and resistant to damage. Protect wiring from damage by running it through conduit or securing it with staples. This will prevent the wiring from being damaged by nails, screws, or other objects. By following these tips, you can help prevent arc fault trips and keep your home safe from electrical fires. Remember, electrical safety is paramount. If you're unsure about any aspect of electrical work, always consult a qualified electrician. Their expertise ensures safety and compliance with local codes, safeguarding your home and family. Understanding arc fault circuit interrupters and their proper functioning is crucial for maintaining a safe electrical system. Regularly testing and maintaining these devices can prevent potential hazards and ensure the well-being of your home.